You know, Herb, you never share your feelings with me.
You're right, Don. Very well, today I'm feeling cold. I'm feeling we should turn on Beakman. I'm feeling that'll warm us up.
Boy, I'm glad we had this talk. It's nice to share.
It's a wonderful thing.
Can I have some of your anchovy?
Forget it, pal.
Fact, your brain is capable of storing more than 100 billion bits of information. That's about as much as 5 full sets of encyclopedias. Wow, that's pretty amazing. I'm Beakman, and you've just broken into Beakman's world.
You know, they say that plants grow better if you talk to them.
Oh, I don't think you better do that until you...
Hello, plant.
Until you brush your teeth.
Hope you're wide awake and ready for anything. Because we've got a bunch of questions, and they could be about anything.
Here's one from Vicky Sharp of Richfield, Utah. She asks, Dear Beakman, why is the sky blue?
Oh, well, because the cloud just up and left one day. I'm bluffing. Well, Vicky Sharp of Richfield, Utah, you posed one of the most asked questions we received. Short question! Now, let's get our heads in the clouds. And there's no one better at that than our guest. That expert on colors, that whiz of light and spectrums, and the Bay Area rep for lava lamps. Please welcome Mr. Roy G. Biv.
Wow. You may not remember my last visit here. I'm kind of sketchy on it myself. Wow. But speaking of light, the stuff we think is white light is really made up of lots of colors. In fact, all the colors of the rainbow, man. Ooh. I'm gonna use this prism, man, so we can see the colors. Whoa. Oh, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, dude, violet. Oh, look at that, Roy G. Biv. That's me, wow. Anyway, I have to run. I am so late for Jerry Garcia's cookout. Okay. Peace, man.
Peace, baby.
So, what did you learn from Roy G. Biv?
I learned that the sun's white light is made up of all the Roy G. Biv colors and all the colors in between.
And I learned that Jerry Garcia is still alive.
But he didn't tell us why the sky is blue.
Jerry Garcia?
No, Roy G. Biv.
Hey, we're lucky he could find his way over here. Consider the radio. As we turn the dial, we get different stations, or different frequencies. Frequency means how often, or frequently, something happens. In this case, how frequently the radio waves vibrate per second.
That's what the numbers on your radio's dial are. The frequency at which that station broadcasts.
Vicky is asking why the sky is blue, and you're talking about radios.
But it's the same thing. Just like radio signals, light travels in waves. Different radio stations broadcast at different frequencies.
And we see different colors at different frequencies.
Ray, the colorized version, please. At this end of the dial are the low frequencies. Red is the color with the lowest frequency. As I turn the dial, the frequencies get higher and the colors change.
So light has different colors because it's got different frequencies, just like radio stations have different frequencies.
Liza, give yourself a top 10 high five. You're well on your way to understanding why the sky is blue. Next, you have to understand scattering. See, the sky is filled with gas molecules and other tiny particles, even though you can't see them. When light from the sun collides with these particles, it scatters in different directions. The higher frequencies of light, your violets, your blues, scatter a whole lot more than the lower frequencies, your reds, your oranges. So we see the other colors combined as almost white light coming right through the atmosphere. But we see the scattered blue light coming at us from all over the sky. That makes the sky appear blue.
Therefore, Lister's brain must have a high frequency because it's very scattered.
And it also picks up out-of-town radio stations.
To recap, the sky appears blue because the blue frequencies in the sun's light get scattered or separated out by the Earth's atmosphere. Oh, thank you. No, thank you very much. Thank you. No, really, you're too kind. I don't deserve this. Thank you.
How come the sky looks reddish at sunrise and sunset? You didn't tell us that.
Yeah, she's right, Beakman. I was here the whole time.
You two keep my brain on its toes. Let's see what the bogoscope has to say about it. In the middle of the day, sunlight shines down through the Earth's atmosphere like so. But when the sun is near the horizon, its light has to go through much more of the atmosphere before it gets to our eyes. Remember I said that the higher the frequency, the more light scatters? Well, the lower frequencies, your reds, your oranges, are the last ones to be scattered. That's why they're still around after going through all that extra atmosphere. The result? Two of our planet's most inspiring sights, dawn and dusk. Sounds like a lounge act.
Coming up next, I'll dive 200 feet into this thimble of water. Just kidding. But we will dive into how factories work. Get your hard hat and your lunch pail. We're punching in after this.
Beakman's World will be back in a flash. And now, back to Beakman's World.
Let's get a move on.
It's time to goose your gourd. Here he is, the footman of the fantastic, the valet of the veritable, the Ted Vessel of our scientific vessel, the one, the only, the Beakman.
You dish 'em, I'll squish 'em. Let's what to say.
The dirtiest word in the English language is...
Miranda Carson of Berkeley, California wants to know, what's the heaviest flying bird?
Answer, the Cory bustard. It soars through the blue skies of eastern and southern Africa. An adult bustard can weigh 30 pounds.
Well, I'm glad those dirty bustards don't live down here.
30 pounds of bad bird.
Fast fact, a person will grow 600 complete eyelashes. You know, those little hairs on your eyelids, in a lifetime.
I guess my eyes are having a good hair day.
I am focused and mentally prepared to tackle the next question. King me, Liza.
Question! Why do we call people who can perform abnormal gymnastics double-jointed?
Answer, because people just like to bend the truth. Actually, there's no such thing as being double-jointed. Some people, however, have very elastic ligaments. The things that connect their muscles to their bones that allow them to do very amazing acrobatics.
Question, is there such a thing as no-jointed?
Answer, in people, no. Most humans have more than 200 joints.
However, most humans in rat suits have 0 brains.
Yes, we does.
Question.
Question?
All right, Liza, I need a question. I need it now. I need it fast.
This is a kind of now, kind of fast one. Dear Beakman, how do they make cars? From Doug Pennington of Tacoma, Washington.
A most interesting question, Doug. One that we can only hope to answer with the help of a very special person.
Vicky Carr?
No, and it's not Otto Preminger either.
Was it Johnny Carson? Abraham Lincoln? Caesar Camaro?
It's Cesar Romero, Lester.
Caesar Romero's here?
No! I'm talking about the man with the plan, the master of mass production, the assembler of the assembly line. A dead guy from Dearborn, Michigan in 1914. Ladies and gentlemen, the late, great Allow me to introduce myself. I'm Henry Ford. And naturally, I'm a Taurus.
Mr. Ford, why do you take such big steps?
More efficient.
Efficient. Acting or producing effectively. The minimum of waste, expense, or unnecessary effort.
Why, if that dull person worked for me, he'd be out on his boring butt. Efficient just means finding the fastest, the best, and the cheapest way to do something. Now, what in the Sam Hill kind of factory are you running here anyway?
Oh, it's not a factory, Mr. Ford. It's an information center.
Well, here's a little information for you, buddy. This place is grossly inefficient. We need to trim the fat from this operation.
I've been telling him that for years.
Why, I'll have this place humming. We'll be turning out information at a breakneck pace, and all of it will be exactly the same. Now, over here, I would place a research unit equipped with a Cornishron network system. When we return, we'll see how well Mr. Ford's ideas work. Now, when Lester challenges the mastermind behind the assembly line to an efficiency race. You won't want to miss this mess, Missy.
Beakman's World must now take a beaker break. And now, back to Beakman's World.
And now over here, I'd place a security procedure to cross-check all outgoing visitors. And welcome back. I'm afraid nothing's changed. Henry Ford is still telling Lester and Liza how to make our information center more efficient. I think their patience is running out. Let's check in. Now over here, I want to install a
Please, Mr. Ford. We didn't bring you here to run the information center. We wanted you to explain about car factories and how they work.
Why, that question suits me to a T. A Model T. Ha ha! That was the first car I manufactured. Before I came along, cars had to be made one at a time, part by part. It took forever.
It must have cost a fortune.
It did. In fact, only the very rich could buy cars. My dream was to make a car that everyone could buy and make myself very rich.
Oh, well, how did it work out? Excuse me. Listen to this man. He knows whereof he speaks.
See, I was the first one to make cars on an assembly line.
How does an assembly line work?
Very efficiently. On an assembly line, making cars is broken down into a series of steps in a logical order. Each worker is responsible for one step, like putting on a wheel or dropping in an engine. Once a worker is done with his or her part, the car moves along to the next worker, leaving the first worker free to work on the next car. The workers don't have to move because the work comes to them. When the last bolt is tightened and the car is finished, it rolls off the assembly line, ready for sale.
So, no one worker needs to know how to make the whole car.
Which makes training workers cheaper and faster, which allowed me to raise wages, to cut hours and still make enough moolah for 1,000 lifetimes.
Lots of moolah, huh? What can I mass produce?
Rat traps.
Mr. Thorpe, if I understand this, the car rolls by, everybody does their job, and you get rich?
That's right. But there's one other thing I haven't mentioned. Interchangeable parts.
What are interchangeable parts?
Something that can be easily replaced.
That's right. In order to make your assembly line really hum along, you have to produce or purchase parts that are exactly alike. Like these. Why, before Eli Whitney came up with interchangeable parts, a worker would spend most of his day hammering and banging on parts so they'd fit together. Interchangeable parts made things much more efficient.
Efficient? You know, you seem awfully proud of your little assembly line, Hank. And I call you Hank because it's more efficient than Henry. But I believe using my own know-how, the sweat of my brow, and the grease of my elbow, that I, a single laborer, can beat your assembly line at its own game.
Challenge accepted, rat boy. You name it, I'll build it.
How about little red wagons?
I'll handle this, Liza. How about little red wagons?
You're on. Let's go. Shake a leg. Okay, Liza. Here we are at the conveyor belt. Are you ready?
Uh-huh.
On your mark.
This is gonna be a piece of cake.
It's supposed to be a red wagon.
Get set. Burn rubber. Time's up. What have we got, Liza?
25 identical, interchangeable little red wagons ready for sale. Let's call them the Model B for Beakman.
Okay. And what do you have, Lester?
One mangled mess ready for the scrap heap.
So, what conclusion can we draw from this?
That I should have drawn the doggy and gone to art school.
And?
And that the assembly line revolutionized our lives by making cars more quickly and cheaply.
And better. And what else? Come on, say it, Lester. I want to hear those magic words coming from your foaming feral lips.
Do I have to? All right. It's more efficient. There, I said it. You happy now?
I'm never happy. It's not efficient. So, Doug from Tacoma, there you have it. That's how a car factory works. And I'll let you in on a little secret. That's how most factories work. The assembly line allows us to crank out product after identical product.
What does Henry Ford's factory look like today? We'll give you a tour after this, so park it right there!
Beakman's World will be back after these messages. And now, back to Beakman's World.
Cars have changed a lot since Henry Ford's day, but they're still made on an assembly line from interchangeable parts. Today, this factory, with its robots and human workers, turns out 35 cars an hour, or 560 of them a day, on an assembly line that's 9 miles long.
Wow, that's so long.
And speaking of so long, the show's over.
So long!
See you next time.
On Beakman's World.
Gee, Herb, I wish we had interchangeable parts.
Really?
Yeah, my beak's been making funny sounds lately.
I know, every time you open it. See what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Well, turn off the set.
Yeah, let's assemble something.
Yeah, lunch.